And back.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And we're live.
Oh hello.
Hello.
No, I'm a big fan of taking the 80. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna go through like Auburn, and Nyack is my favorite place to stop. And then you're driving through
The bathrooms
Truckee.
are always clean.
Oh no, they're nasty. Nasty in Nyack. That's what they say. But there's a beautiful rest stop. And then then you drive through Truckee, and then Reno is the next deal. So works out well. And so Truckee is really like the North Lake Tahoe where most people hang out. Like that's where North Star is. That's where Squaw Valley is.
You guys all set?
We're set.
Yeah.
John, you ready to nail us with all kinds of knowledge tonight?
All kinds of knowledge on Pilsners. Here we go.
Here it is.
Buonasera, sono Marcello. Ascoltate al We Like Drinking podcast, dove non bere mai solo. Ciao tutti.
At the sound of the tone, the official We Like Drinking time will be 5 o'clock. Commence consumption.
Thank you for joining us for the We Like Drinking show. Whoops. Damn it.
I don't know why you didn't work in the record scratch too.
Just get the fart sound and everything else. All right, try it again.
Buonasera, sono Marcello. Ascoltate al We Like Drinking podcast, dove non bere mai solo. Ciao tutti.
God fucking bless America. All right. Try it again.
Stonzo.
All right. Here we go.
Take 3.
Third time's a charm.
Buonasera, sono Marcello. Ascoltate al We Like Drinking podcast, dove non bere mai solo. Ciao tutti.
At the sound of the tone, the official We Like Drinking time will be 5 o'clock. Commence consumption.
Thank you for joining us at the award-winning We Like Drinking podcast, episode 171. In this episode, we'll be discussing American Craft Pilsner. So crack open your beer, uncork that wine, and let's get drinking! I love the horn, guys.
Yeah, we're podcasting from Helm's Deep.
Yeah. Now you know you don't have to offend all the mead makers anymore. You're like, look, this has been part of the show the whole time.
Toss me, but don't tell the elf.
It was good to hear Marcello at the top of the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not hit auto translate on that one.
Oh, I was laughing so hard at that. So Marcello is a part of the We Like Drinking Tavern, and he said some stuff in Italian in the tavern yesterday. I mean, tavern's a 21 and up kind of place, right? He said it in response to his son, to his wonderful son, and actually I think it was to John. And I hit the auto translate, and it was all kinds of, cursing going on.
Yeah. It's very intense. And like thinking that it was directed at John too. Like John got all this shrapnel from Marcello.
Like WTF, you're not drinking an Italian craft Pilsner.
No, that's a term of endearment when my dad calls you an a-hole. That's like a good thing.
And I think he signed it like the Red Marcello or something like that.
He's saying what is it? Moretti Rosso.
No, I know, but just the way it's translated, like the Red Marcello. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Marcello's going all mob boss on John.
Yeah, I better check my kneecaps tomorrow, huh?
Oh, where were we? So here's my podcast drinking friends, and welcome to Happy Hour 171 of the We Like Drinking Show. The podcast that reminds people that drinking beer and wine is supposed to be fun, people. And that even through the laughs, you can still learn about your favorite beverages. Now, Jeff Solomon.
Yes.
We've got a little something to talk about before we get into the show. So what should our listeners do if they're longtime listeners, zero-time callers?
Yeah, I mean, something really easy that you can do to help us out that we really do appreciate is, while you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, seriously, most all of them, the interfaces are great. You just scroll down, take a look at where you see all those stars. Click on that, give us a rip-roaring 5-star rating and a wonderful review. Include your Twitter handle or some way for us to get a hold of you so we can thank you personally for all the love that y'all have been throwing our way, because it really does help us out. And, we'll talk to you later about how you can give us some money. But like the ratings and the reviews, those are priceless. That's the word, priceless.
Absolutely. Social confirmation of what we're doing here. Hey, we got another rating this week. We didn't get a review, but we did get another rating, another 5-star rating. So thank you for that.
Nice.
The person that left it. So
thank you, person. We hope you're a person.
Thank you. Thank you, person. So here we go. Our monthly drinking episode, one of my favorite episodes each and every month. This month, American Craft Pilsner. Everybody stayed in line. This wasn't actually pretty interesting. The tavern had American Craft Pilsner was a big time winner, and then we went to the Patreons. And we were neck and neck. We had a tie between the Goes and the American Craft Pilsner, the ACP. And I had to put the plea out late night on the page and say, guys, $5 and up donors, we need the vote. And actually what happened is somebody logged in and changed their vote from a stout to the ACP to put it over the top. So there was some convention type shenanigans going in.
Man, it's drama.
Yeah.
I didn't even think that was possible. Like that's kind of like, everybody voting for H. Ross Perot in the 90s. Like if they're like, oh, I guess he's not gonna win, and then they just kind of recast.
Yeah.
We can do that?
Yeah.
Oh man. This is an interesting democracy we got going on here.
This is actually the worst thing ever because Solomon, he's gonna be like that on the eBay, the dude that comes in at the last minute and throws in the huge vote to steal the win away from you. I can already see this is going to happen.
Oh man!
All right. Well, Doug Trapasso has got to be furious with us because we're back to not getting goods at all, just doing our own thing. So
well, how was your week so far this week, guys? I mean, come on. I mean, just piss them off a little bit more.
Oh, come on.
So you hear us all talking. Now let's find out who it is we're drinking with this evening. We've got our wine blogger, Jeff Solomon.
Award-winning. Hello.
We have our professional, multicultural beer brewer, John Ruyak.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, how are you doing?
And I am your host, Jeff Eccles. So, welcome to the show, folks. We're going to get right into this. We are going to get to our American Craft Pilsners. But you know what? I think we've been a little delayed on this a couple weeks, so we're just going to go straight to grape, hop, or pop culture reference. So this is where I give these guys a term, and they try to tell me if it's a wine grape, a beer hop, or some kind of crazy pop culture reference. I will say, if it is a pop culture reference this week, it is not one of my friends' last names. So I'll just give you a little heads up.
How dare you?
The term this week is Junga. So is Junga a wine grape, a beer hop, or a pop culture reference? I think we started with John last week, didn't we? So Jeff Solomon, Junga.
Could you spell it, please?
Junga.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. Sorry. Junga. Junga. Ga. Not Jenga.
Not Jenga. I guess it could be Junga.
Or Yunga.
Sneeze.
Or Hunga.
I bet you it's Hunga.
Hunga.
But I swear I've heard this one before. It was on Appetite for Destruction. I think that Junga is a dude, isn't that like a tropical rain? No, that's El Yunque. Junga is a hops variety.
Okay. Is that as far detailed as you're going to get this week?
New Zealand hops variety.
All right. John Ruyak.
Yeah, I was gonna go hops variety too, but if I pull any of my comments out of that, everything's gonna come crashing down.
Well, we can't have that.
Boom, boom.
So are you sticking with the hops then?
I'm thinking hops, but I'm going South African.
South African hops. All right. Well, guys.
Oh, can I throw out one more idea? Is it a hops from the Czech Republic?
Which one are you going with?
No, I'm gonna go with New Zealand.
All right. Junga is in fact a hop. So very well done, guys. It is a Polish hop with high alpha acid, mainly used for bittering. Welcome to the Junga.
It's gonna bring you down.
All right, now that's
wow.
John, is Junga a big Pilsner hop?
Not that I'm aware of.
I thought Saaz was the big thing.
Saaz is the thing.
Yeah. Saaz is the word, baby.
All right. Yeah. All right. So ACP, I don't know if that's a real thing or not, but it is on our show.
American Craft Pilsner.
I guess we could call it the MCP if we really wanted to.
American. Yeah, American.
All right. So, John, what do you got?
Okay. So, American. Yeah. Well, wow. Look at the color on yours. That's awesome. Yeah. Look at that. What did you pour there, Eccles?
Yeah, we can run through these real quick. My first one up tonight is the Polestar Pilsner from Left Hand Brewing.
Okay, I've got a Colorado one too. I've got New Belgium's Blue Paddle.
Oh, yeah.
So the deal with Pilsner is, well, we're drinking American Craft Pilsners. We're not drinking European Pilsners, produced Pilsners this evening. But Pilsner as a style came about in the 1840s or so. Western Bohemia, which is now the Czech Republic, very proud of their brewing tradition, and the town of Pilsen, which is actually spelled Plzen. they had a problem, and they had some skunky beer, and they had to pour out all that skunky beer, and they had to hire somebody to come in and get some beer going for them again. And they hired this dude from Germany to come in and fix their beer problem. And he brought along some yeast that happened to make this excellent beer. And they found out, and they worked some things out. And it took a couple of years to actually get this thing going. And that they would ferment these beers at very low temperatures. So ales are typically fermented, 60, and this is Fahrenheit, 65 to 75 degrees. But Pilsen yeasts, they are best used to ferment between 48 and 55 degrees, much, much cooler temperatures. And what that results in is that the yeasts provide very little fruity ester type of background notes. So you're getting a very, very clean fermentation, and you're not getting anything other than the actual ingredients of the beer. You don't get a lot of yeasty notes out of a Pilsen beer. Let me back up a bit. Pilsen is a type of lager beer. All Pilsens are lagers, but not all lagers are Pilsens. So let's go back to some high school math. Huh,
Yeah.
Solomon?
Okay, geometry teacher.
So, and the fact that these were first brewed in Bohemia, Saaz is the preeminent hop variety that's used in Pilsner style beers. Now, there are 3 typical styles of Pilsner. Bohemian Pilsner, which is the style that first started in the what's now the Czech Republic, and German Pilsners, and there's an American Pilsner style. So from the Bohemian Pilsners, you're going to get, your typical yellow color. What's going to be a little bit weird for some people is in Bohemian Pilsners, you might get a little bit of diacetyl, which is popcorny type of flavor sometimes. Buttered popcorn, which is okay. It's actually means that, with these lower fermentation temperatures, sometimes the yeast doesn't do its cleanup job that you need it to do to take some of those flavors out of the beer. But that's all right. In a Bohemian Pilsner, the typical hop styles are Saaz, as I said. You can get some that are sometimes brewed with Spalt or Tettnanger, but they tend to be kind of spicy, very spicy and floral. And the hop profile on these things should be present but not lingering. So you'll get a bitter bite when you're taking a sip, but it should clear out once the beer goes down. Once the beer is swallowed.
Excellent. So, John, good friend of the show, Chelsea, who is my beer mule when she goes down to Albuquerque.
Yeah, she brought you some gifts last time, huh?
She did. So, her and her husband had brewed a Pilsner that they let me have a bottle of, and she said that it was a Prohibition style Pilsner.
Pre-Prohibition style Pilsner.
Yeah, pre-Prohibition, right. So it had a very different profile to it. So can you talk a little bit about what that is?
So there's the Bohemian Pilsner, there's German Pilsner that tends to have a little bit of a grainy or biscuity flavor to it. Maybe a little bit of graham cracker type of flavors. You can get a little bit of sulfur notes in it.
And that's in the German Pils?
That's a German Pilsner. They tend to be drier, not a lot of less residual sugar than, say, a Bohemian style Pilsner. And then there's the American Pilsner style, which, what's America famous for?
I know.
Corn,
man.
So from the get-go, when these people from Germany and Bohemia came over to America back in the 1840s and 50s. They brought their brewing traditions with them, and they were very proud of this beer that was becoming world famous. And it just Pilsner kind of took the world by storm, because a lot of people were used to drinking these murky ales, right? That were, in some instances, not very good. So they brought with them these brewing techniques, but barley wasn't being grown to the extent that it is today. So they were looking for additional fermentables to put in the beer. So they ended up using quite a bit of corn. So corn sweeteners, or corn as a fermentable sugar in American Pilsners, is just a matter of course. That's the way they're made. So they tend to have that somewhat tackier sweetness to them a little bit. But pre-prohibition Pilsners also have a higher IBU content than what happened after prohibition. And the reason for that is because brewers were having a hard time getting the hops they needed once prohibition ended. So they ended up using less. So pre-prohibition Pilsners, say that 5 times fast, tended to be in the 30 to 40% range, which is kind of close to the German Pilsner style, which a lot of German Pilsners tend to be in that 35 IBU range. So that's where American Pilsners will come in. Post-prohibition Pilsners tend to be a bit lower, 25 to 30, which is still higher than what Budweiser and Miller and those things are now, which tend to be around 8 to 12. American Pilsners, I think, tend to be a little bit darker, particularly the pre-prohibition styles.
Yeah.
Yep. So you got a little more yellow going on in yours. Mine, this Blue Paddle is a Bohemian style Pilsner, and it's really, this is light straw.
Yeah, that's a very light in color.
So what I would say seems kind of confusing to me is, of course, I bought my Pilsners and then I started looking up styles. It seems to me that if you're looking for an American craft Pilsner, that's not typically going to be an American style Pilsner. It's going to be an American craft brewery that's usually doing Bohemian or Czech style Pilsner, correct?
Yes, correct.
Because man, I'll tell you what, so some of those companies wouldn't be caught dead putting corn in their beer.
A lot of craft brewers are going towards the Mexican lager style, which has a pretty high corn or maize component as well. So the Mexican lagers and the pre-prohibition American lagers are pretty similar, although the pre-prohibition American Pilsners are much more highly hopped than the Mexican style lagers. Yeah. So you get a big corn component in those Mexican style lagers, and they may use a different hop and a much lower IBU per charge in those.
So I did want to ask something else. As you were talking at the beginning, I was doing my little wave over here, right? Because I could not escape whenever I was looking up stuff about Pilsner, especially about the origins in Pilsen, how Pilsen has insanely soft water. Yes. And that lent itself to a really clean style beer being the staple there. And then one of the reasons why you got maybe more of a bite and more like sulfury notes in the German Pilsners really had a lot to do with water, at least in the beginning of their crafting of that.
The sulfur component, sulfur in water, if it's at a certain, if you can drink water and it doesn't taste sulfury, you can still get some sulfur components in a beer. And yeast is very good at pulling sulfur out of solution. It's sulfur is a yeast nutrient. So a lot of times, particularly at these lower fermentation temperatures, yeast will pull that sulfur out of solution and ferment it out, and you can get kind of a sulfur dioxide kind of aroma in the fermentation room. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And you're supposed to say that's just a natural byproduct of yeast in that temperature range. So that's it. And personally, for me, I like a little bit more minerality in my pilsners than just a really, really soft water pilsner. Something that kind of the minerality tends to give it a little bit of a balance to the hop bitterness and the malty sweetness. To me, it's something that's got a little bit more mineral component to the water balances it out a little bit for me. Other people might not feel that way.
Word.
Awesome. All right. So
the SAAZ, Saaz hops, is the rule of the day. And Saaz hops are really hard to find. So I shouldn't say really hard to find, but when you find them, they're expensive. And what happens is Saaz is considered a noble hop variety. So they're not particularly high alpha acids like this Jungo we talked about before in Grape Hop and Pop Culture Reference. So you need a lot of them to get the bitterness levels up in these beers, because the alpha acid components that create the bitterness can be on the order of 1/4 to 1/5 of the level of what you'll get in some of the higher alpha varieties you use for American IPAs and things like that.
oh wow.
So you use them very early in the brewing process to extract as much as you can, and you have to be careful so that you're not adding so much that you're getting a vegetative flavor in the beer, which can happen when you add a lot of green stuff.
Excellent. Knowledge bombs galore. Thank you for that, John.
Well, there you go.
All right. So that was some good stuff, but I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's
man.
Let's drink some of these.
Yeah. So you know what? I'm gonna start.
Go ahead.
Oh, look at you. Look who's here today.
Yeah, he's the host of the show. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
So as I mentioned earlier, I got the Polestar Pilsner from Left Hand. John, Jeff, you were mentioning earlier, you won't see a whole lot of American style. So this is a zesty German style Pils. So it's definitely got a little bit more of that bready note that you were talking about on the nose, John. Very clean nose. And on the palate, it's also very crisp and clean.
So how's the carbonation on that?
It's good. I mean, it
keeps pouring out, huh?
Yeah, it's just kind of a steady, slow stream of bubbles. It's not like the head is just staying standard, about maybe a 1 to 2 centimeter head. And when I'm drinking it, I don't really notice like over carbonation or anything like that.
Good. But there should be some cleaning action from the carbonation, particularly in a German Pilsner. They tend to be a little bit more highly carbonated than the Bohemian style.
Okay. All right. So, John, what do you got there?
Again, I've got the New Belgium Blue Paddle Pilsner. This is a Bohemian style. So this one has just a little bit of that diacetyl note, just really, really minor, which is good because diacetyl is a fault in most beers. In a Bohemian Pilsner, at this level, it is not. So the body on this is, for a Pilsen, I would say medium, and the hop charge on this is, I looked it up. It's 33 IBUs, 4.8 ABV. But this is a crushable beer. This is like, let's mow the lawn and drink a 6-pack.
Yeah. Did you say what's the ABV on yours?
4.8.
Okay. Mine is 5.5.
Yeah. And most Pilsners should be in that really shouldn't be over 6.
Interesting. Interesting.
And the carbonation is there, John. I'm starting to get the burps.
There you go.
So I got to tell you about my trying to find some Pilsners. I remember when we were going to do our first ever #World Porter Day, how it was very difficult to find not just a variety of porters to choose from, but any porters to choose from. And while most any grocery store, you could get a Pilsner, it'll probably be from the Czech Republic or Germany. When you get to American Craft Pilsners, all of a sudden, at least for me, just the random places that I will typically stop just to like look real quick, it wasn't so easy for me unless you're going to a specialty shop. The first place I went to, they had 2 American Pilsners. One of them was Lagunitas Pils, but as of, within the last year and a half, Lagunitas is no longer a craft brewery. So I was really just pre-gaming with some Lagunitas Pils, and that's a delicious beer. It's crushable, but it's in that 6% range. It's got a little bit of a bite. That's they're calling it a Czech style Pilsner. But with that bite, it almost seems like what John might say is more of like a German style. That's just what it seemed like to me. So that was my first option. I'm like, I don't really want to do that one on the show. So then the other one I picked up at my first stop.
Surprised. John, what was did you have much trouble finding pills?
You know what? I was a little disappointed. I went to Total Wines, and I'm not normally disappointed if we're looking at something other than what we were looking for today. It was way down at the end of the aisle, and they had these Pilsners mixed in with lagers and things. And I picked out 6, and there was probably 3 others that I could have picked out of the 20 or 25 they had available in the lager section in their single bottle aisle.
Yeah.
So, and, any of the ones that I picked, I could have gone and gotten a 6-pack. But I was disappointed not to be able to find the Victory Brewing Prima Pils, which if anybody, that listens to our show, that to me, truthfully, is the preeminent American Craft Pilsner. I did have one from Karbach last week, which was pretty good, but doesn't hold a candle to the Victory, which is they're owned by, of all things, Florida Farm and Ice, which brews Imperial in Costa Rica. But Victory's a good brewery. They're outside Philadelphia.
Jeff, so I take it you didn't have the troubles that I did.
Double-digit Pilsners to choose from, dude. And that's not even including the actual European style Pilsners that I could have picked from as well.
Dude, yeah. I did not. And it was like, the thing is, it's like, I remember a couple years ago, I think Pilsners were hot, like more like 2 or 3 years ago. I remember, I'm like, man, why is everybody all into Pilsner? And it's now the time that I'm looking for some. It was not easy at that first stop. I ended up taking home that Lagunitas, which isn't craft. They make delicious beer, they're just not craft. And by the way, get the Waldo's special this week for $4.20, bro. But then also they got this thing, Sufferfest Beer Company out of Denver, Colorado. This is their Flyby Pilsner. It's a beer company that's all about athletes and celebrating athletes. So wouldn't you know, it's gluten-free. The first beer that I'm drinking tonight is a gluten-free Pilsner. And I have to say, this is very clean. It's got a nice profile. These beautiful like Miller High Life type of bubbles are rising up as you see my wobbly, crazy face in the background.
It looks like you got a little bobblehead doll of yourself.
Oh yeah, totally. But you know, this is it's an enjoyable beer. Like I wouldn't pour it out. You know, if you're watching your calories, well, it's funny. It comes in like a 16-ounce can here. So it's the same as everything else, but you know, because it's lower calorie, reduced gluten, you can drink more of it and you can love it. You can love it. No, this is a perfectly fine Pilsner, super clean, and like honestly, like what more would I expect? I will say that coming up after this is the Coronado Brewing Company Seacoast California Pilsner. Both of my beers tonight are in cans, and that is paying homage to my boy Jason Quascott, who was requesting an all-can episode in the tavern. So just for you, Jason, 2 cans tonight.
Excellent. All right.
2 cans. Are we having Fruit Loops?
Boom.
Good first pass, guys. I like it. I'm gonna let you guys. What's that, John?
What's your number 2?
Hold on. I know I'm flipping the script on you a little bit here. So I'm going to let everybody enjoy their first beer as we get into Jeff Solomon.
Bo, 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 bo-de-do, bo, 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 bo-de-bo. John Ruyek's got a story. Yay, 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 yay.
So here's what's going to happen, folks. John's got a story for us, but you know, there's always time considerations. So if we get another bull story, we may not get to our second pills. We'll just see what happens. John.
Okay, so today was a very long day at Lizard Tail. We had some technical issues. One of the CO2 lines that feeds all of the beer kegs had an aneurysm. So I ended up replacing like 4 feet of CO2 hose and a mixed brewing and packaging hops into airtight sealed bags and kegging and all those other things. So at the end of the day, I get in the car and I'm on my way to the grocery store to pick up some stuff for dinner, and I'm listening to this radio show, and it's Eddie Aragon on 93.7 here in Albuquerque. He's pretty libertarian, but he's telling some story about somebody, and he says, if that doesn't get you ticked off or just raise your blood pressure, you should just stop listening to this radio station and stop listening to my show. So I'm riding up Montgomery to Tramway. I'm just cracking up when he says that. I got to call the guy. I said, look, I just got to call him. So I wait for the phone number to come over, and I call, and I get in the queue, and wouldn't you know, they actually put me on air just as I'm pulling into the grocery store parking lot. And I tell him, like, Eddie, look, you and I have talked before. I used to brew beer in Costa Rica, but you said something about not listening to the show anymore. That's something we do on our podcast all the time. I just was cracking up for the last 10 minutes on the way to the grocery store. He's like, podcast? What's your podcast? So I told him it's the We Like Drinking podcast. We do a beer and wine thing. And you can find us on iTunes or Podcast Republic. He's like, hey, everybody, just listen to the We Like Drinking podcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that went out over talk radio today in Albuquerque. That was just funny as anything.
Just what we need, more Albuquerquean libertarians. I better clean up my act.
So yeah, that was a good end to a very difficult day today at the brewery.
That's beautiful.
It must have worked. We've got 10,000 downloads today.
Oh, yeah. Awesome!
Remember how I used to say, go grab people's phones and subscribe? No. Call your local radio station and tell them that they stole a bit from your podcast called the We Like Drinking Podcast.
Yeah, I was just cracking up. Stop listening to my radio station. I was just, oh my goodness, that was funny as heck.
So, John,
Yeah.
at what point while you were talking to him did you say smoked whale testicles?
Actually, I didn't. Damn it.
All right. John, that honestly may be my favorite story that you've
Look at me, ear to ear. I'm grinning so hard.
Oh my
man.
goodness, that was so fun.
Isn't it crazy? You're on like an award-winning, world-renowned podcast, and I bet you as soon as you got on the air on a radio station, you're like, I'm on the radio.
Oh man, I used to do radio. I don't get all excited about being on air
that would
anymore.
be me. That would be me. That was awesome.
I used to work at a record store.
Yeah,
Good thing I
was
got
just-
this big old Pilsner glass to catch my spit take just now.
All right. Well, and we're back for round 2. All right. So Jeff, what was it that you're going with on this second round here?
Yeah, this next one is the Coronado Brewing Company out of Coronado, California. That's like Southern California. That's homage to Billy Belts making some beautiful mead in San Diego. You should go back and listen to that episode. Oh my God.
Here come the orcs.
Go back and listen to episode 170. People are loving that one, by the way. And go get some craft mead. But this is Coronado Brewing Company. This is their Sea Coast Pilsner. They call it a California Pilsner. I've got to believe. Let's see here. They're using Czech Saaz hops, cluster, and Hallertau. In this one, they're saying it's perfect for backyard barbecues. And this is a shade under 5%, I believe.
Excellent.
I poured it into my tulip glass, John, just for you.
Awesome. Well,
All right, we'll get into it, Jeff.
Get into it.
And we
Come
got to go a little bit quick on these.
Okay, so on the nose, this is it's a wow. There is maybe that a little bit of that diacetyl that you were talking about,
Right.
like on the nose. This one comes across as a bit more rich and malty than the gluten-free one. I wonder why the gluten-free one doesnn't taste as malty. So little bit rich, a little bit more of a bite there. I think the bittering hops themselves are quite a bit more present. I think this is a bit more up my alley. Carbonation wise, it does seem like it's a little bit a few more volumes than 2. So it's good. I don't know if this is
Yeah, a Pilsner should be generally somewhere like 2.75 to just short of 3.
This is not poundable due to the malty richness and the carbonation, but this is an all day enjoyable type of beer to me, and I do like it. It's the last one, that gluten-free one, like super clean. Like if you are a vodka soda type of person, you're gonna love that gluten-free Pilsner. For me, I like that bit of richness there. And honestly, like, if there was a higher level of like aroma hops, I think it'd come across as, and if it were an ale, it'd come across as a beautiful session ale. I like this. I like this quite a bit.
Excellent. All right. So now through the magic of GroupMe and sharing pictures, John and I are we drinking the same beer?
No, actually, I'm drinking. I
Okay.
decided we'll do something different. I went with the Sierra Blanca Desert Pilsner. This is brewed in Moriarty, which is about 50 miles east of here, up and over
Okay.
the pass. And this is their Desert Pils. And this, I think, is a little grainier than the Pils. So I think it didn't give a style when I looked it up. I think this would be more along a German Pils and a little bit more aroma. A lot more carbonation flying out of this.
Moriarty, eh? Wasn't that a character from On the Road?
I think it was a character from the Sherlock, wasn't it?
Sherlock Holmes.
Okay, all right. I could be wrong. Wasn't he like Dean
Ooh.
Moriarty was like the cool guy?
Yeah, there's
In the
actually
On
a
the
couple
Road?
of Major League Baseball players from Moriarty. Jordan Pacheco used to play for the Colorado Rockies, first base and catcher.
Moving on.
Jordan
yeah.
Pacheco.
Yeah, this one's a little bit more floral, but this is clean. I actually like this. Beautiful looking beer. I mean, crystal clear. So, yes, doesn't have any of the diacetyl. So I'm thinking this is more in the German Pilsner category. A little bit grainy. I don't get the graham crackery thing that people talk about, but it's a little toastier, little grainier.
Little biscuity, is that a thing?
Yeah, a little biscuity, but not quite graham crackery, which would be a little bit richer. So yeah, and super clean, super clean.
Excellent.
But
go ahead.
And yours, Mr.
So-
Eccles?
My second one is the Firestone Pivo Hoppy Pills. So it doesn't really give a style or anything like that. 5.3.
That's a delicious one. I was looking for that one. Crowd pleaser. And should be widely available.
Yeah, I mean, John
Just
was
not in my stores.
I actually have a
apparently.
can here, but I'm not going to open it. But
Yeah,
I like it in a can. I think if you get it in a bottle, you're kind of a square.
yeah. I could. It was only available in the bottle where I was picking it up, but John had shared that he got it, so that was one of them that I picked out. So on the nose, it's almost seems a little bit more malty than the first one I had, or I should say it's less crisp than the first, the Polestar that I had. And then on the palate, it's, I think, John, like you said, it's a little bit grainier, if that makes sense. It's not as crisp, and I would have expected to be a little bit more crisp because it's a hoppy pills. But the Polestar had a little bit more going on in my opinion. This one's a little bit more reserved, a little bit more flatlined, a little bit more I don't want to say balanced, but it's just a little bit tamer than the Polestar was.
Huh, interesting. It's interesting when you drink a beer that has that grainy profile. It's almost like you can taste the solidness of the grain, but you can taste the solidness of the grain, but you don't feel it. It's a weird sensation.
Yeah. So I like the Polestar a little bit better than than this one. So.
Oh, what is this, like a East Coast West Coast thing?
No,
No,
it's a Rocky Mountain thing.
Is this a Rocky Mountain versus Paso Robles thing?
Yes, it is. Mount.
Right. Respect. Hey, man, I don't want to fight. I know you're bigger than me. It's cool.
All right. Good stuff. I know John and I both have a third pills, but we're pushing up against the backside. So we're gonna get straight into What's up? So what do we have our eyes on, or what do we have coming up? John Ruyak.
Folks, this is possibly my last episode. I'm headed to the New Mexico Boot Heel this weekend to be about 5 miles from the Mexico border to look for a very rare rattlesnake. Not sure if I'm coming back, but
That sounds like a good idea.
we'll find out. Yeah.
Is it a deadly rattlesnake?
No, they're about 20 inches long. It's a New Mexico ridge nose rattlesnake. They're very rare.
Does it have laser beams on it?
No.
Is it a shark with freaking laser beams attached to its head? Jeff Solomon, what's up?
Well, I actually found a Mexican ridge nose rattlesnake. I've actually got 2 of them. I have a breeding farm where I sell them at a Petco. Yeah. Hey, couple weeks away from the 4th annual Evergreen Valley High School Salsa Bowl. I am looking to actually figure out what the hell I'm going to make, but I'll probably win because I win everything because I'm a winner, darn it.
Are you going for your 3rd championship out of the 4 years?
It'll be my 3rd championship. It'd be nice if they could pony up and get me 3 trophies. Instead, they just pass the same one back and forth. That's
Don't they retire it after you've won it a 3rd time?
I mean, I feel like I'm just gonna walk in. I'm just gonna like unscrew the base, like hide that somewhere, like just wear it, like wear the bowl like around my neck on like a chain. Oh yeah, man, I'm making waves. After I win it this year, it'll be mine forevs.
Excellent.
I'm gonna be such a sore winner. Nobody is ever gonna want to compete next year.
And literally no one listening to the show or on the panel is surprised by that statement.
What, me? Come on.
And next week, folks, be sure to join us for an extra Brambly episode as we welcome Don Morton to the show. Don is the founder of Shrub Disc Company that makes shelf-stable, perfectly balanced, real fruit cocktail vinegars for all your drinking needs. So interested to check this one out. I think we're going to learn a lot coming from the beer and wine.
I love these episodes with guests that we learn from. Like, it's awesome.
That meat episode was awesome with Billy. I was like floored, like how many knowledge bombs he dropped on me. I was like, whoa.
Oh, dude, I was like, tell him just today. I was like, oh, you don't like mead? They probably don't use ale yeast. They probably don't, have nutrient additions. I bet you think it takes years. I could make one in 6 months.
No, seriously, I went to the brewery the next day. I'm like, we got to make mead. We got to figure out a way to make mead.
I like that Jeff Solomon drinks one bottle of mead and he's a mead snob.
Yeah. I'm a mead maker. Oh, you don't like mallow mouths with tart cherries and black pepper? Get out of here. You know what you're talking about. You don't like it carbonated at slightly under 2 volumes? What's your problem?
Well, if the We Like Drinking show is getting into how mead snobbish we are, it must be
Last call.
Last call. Time to clean house and lock the doors. You know what we do, folks? We needs your helps. We need the follows. We like our social game is not on fleek. It is suffering, and we need your help. We need the numbers. We need the followers. John Ruyak, for once in 171 episodes, can you get all 3 of our social profiles correct and tell the people where they should follow us?
No.
And we're going to do 4 because you're going to give them the tavern too. Go.
No. Well, okay. You can follow us at WeLikeDrinking.com. You can get us at We Like Drinking on Facebook. We've got the Tavern on Facebook. There's also We Like Drinking 1 on the Twitters, and that's the numeral 1.
You've gotten one so far.
What?
How do they, if they want to get to join us at the tavern, where do they go?
Facebook. We Like Drinking, the Tavern.
WeLikeDrinking.com/tavern. If they want to follow us on Instagram, what do they follow us on?
We Like Drinking.
Very good.
Let's smoke some hash while you're
pick a platform and type in We Like Drinking. We're there.
And be sure to follow John on Snapchat, because he is all about the cutting edge social spaces. Jeff Solomon. No, I'm going to take this one. And listeners, we talked about at the top of the show, the iTunes / Apple podcast.
Aren't we on Tinder?
the whole podcast is on Tinder.
You know what?
A very awkward date.
I really want to make that happen. Actually, I want somebody to be swiping left or right or whatever it is, and all of a sudden they come to the bird.
They just show up at the coffee shop, and it's just a phone that has pre-downloaded every episode.
Swipe dude, red bird. Oh, I better
best first date ever.
Listeners, we could use the social validation of a review and a post on the Apple podcast, formerly known as iTunes. So search us out there, leave us a big fat 5-star review. Let us know what you think about the show. It really helps us determine what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. Jeff Solomon, if they've done all that and they're like, I need more to do for these guys, what's the Uber way they can, not umlaut, Uber way they can help us out?
Yeah, well, the thing that's kind of fun, doing this independent drinking podcast right here is, you've got our unfiltered opinions about all this stuff. And one of the reasons why we can keep this show going is through support from listeners like you. So if you did want to get in on supporting us financially for as little as $1 a month, become a patron of the show through Patreon. It's WeLikeDrinking.com/pledge. We've got some really neat things for you, but honestly, the greatest thing is you get to know that you are helping this independent show keep it real every week, every day, 24/7, 365 and a quarter. Or something.
Yep. So
when do we do leap year?
Be sure to check that out and check out some of the bonuses that you get from being there. And guys,
yes,
check this out. We have a new Patreon of the show. You know her because she has been on the show.
Whoa!
And she is the host of one of the top podcasts in the game, one Miss Elizabeth Schneider.
No shit.
Wine for Normal People has become a Patreon of the We Like Drinking.
Whoa, Elizabeth, thank you.
Wow. Elizabeth, thank you so much. That's I'm blushing.
Right. So Elizabeth and MC Ice, we truly appreciate your support. Elizabeth and I, we talk a lot on the socials and on email, and it's just a huge honor that she's dipping into the pocket to help these three yahoos out. So thank you, Elizabeth and MC Ice. We truly appreciate it. And to all our Patreons, you guys mean the world to us. And this show honestly would not be happening anymore if it wasn't for you. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your support.
Wow, thank you.
Moving on. Oh, no, not we're going to move on yet because that was a lot of information we tried to pack into your brain nodules. And so we like to do this little bit that we call Wait, who subscribed? Where I take a quote from someone fictional or non-fictional and twist it around to relate to our podcast somehow. There you go, John. I fit that back in. All right, here we go.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so here we go. You drink the blue pills, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You drink the red pills, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Oh my God.
Couldn't even look at you guys while I was doing that. All right, John Ruyak.
Lawrence Fishburne. In
Yes.
The Matrix.
Yeah, I mean, look, you could call it the Matrix, but he straight up, Lawrence Fishburne plagiarized a guy named Lewis Carroll.
Yeah.
Wonderland, the rabbit hole. I mean, come
One
on.
pill makes you larger, and
Yeah.
one pill
They
makes
ripped
you
off.
small.
They ripped
Jefferson
off,
Airplane.
Jefferson Airplane. What's her name? Who is the lead singer?
Grace Slick.
Yeah, man. I know what happened. Lawrence Fishburne was at Altamont. He was watching the Jefferson Airplane get beat up by the Hells Angels because they were being paid with German Pilsner, and they just went. It was nuts.
And Marcello was taking Super 8s of that the whole time.
Moving on,
yeah.
you can also find
He was there for half a second.
links to the stories or mentions we had at welikedrinking.com/podcast. All right. Always a sad moment of the show when I get to the point where I say, okay, panel, let's take one last trip around this table and get some final thoughts before we shut off the lights. John Ruyak.
Well, I feel like I need to go buy a beer Moretti so I don't have to worry about my kneecaps being broken this week.
Jeff Solomon.
Oh, this is Jeff Eckel's favorite part when I ask him to stop the music right now so I can go, welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want. How do you know the name? We are the people that can find whatever you may need. The We Like Drinking podcast. 420, go smoke some weed. We can do good. All right, back into the music.
And we've been adding this to the show where I give you guys a question of the week. We need you guys. Come on, guys. 2 weeks in, no responses. I expect better of you. So this week for the question of the week, because I think this will at least get one listener to respond. One listener and maybe John as well. So we are in the middle of round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So who is your pick to hoist the trophy this year? We're going to do it right now. Jeff Solomon.
The LA Clippers.
John Ruyak.
Oh, Tampa Bay.
And I'll say Nashville, damn it. With that, we'll say thanks again for joining us at the hold on. If you would like to leave your answer for who you think is going to win the cup, visit WeLikeDrinking.com/podcast. Click on this show, leave a comment, let us know who hoists the cup. And with that, I'll say thanks again for joining us at the We Like Drinking podcast.
Where you'll never drink alone.
Body blow.
Body blow.
Body blow.
Good night, all.